Should I still trust women?
No. A client of mine, single mom, has 3 kids. They all have different dads, but by her own doing. So she has enough of her own money, but she always wants a man with more money. So she dates these men in higher positions and whatnot, and they have broken up with her. And what she actually does is she goes and gets artificially inseminated, tells them that she's pregnant by them. She lies to these men, and then by the time the paternity test comes out, obviously they know they're not the dad. She's done it 3 times.
And all the kids are by just different
donors. She's got a couple screws loose. She's just, I want more kids, and I want someone who also wants kids. And I was like, well, have you tried asking these men to have kids with you? She's like, well, they just keep breaking up with me.
What's your age?
26 on February 22nd. So I'm 25 right now.
Are you single?
I am single.
Why do you think that is?
Because I want to be. I have a couple of boyfriends. I hope they're not watching. Maybe like 4 or 5. So I guess I'm single. I am single.
Hey, but what's it like dating 5 people at the same time?
It's just like juggling. You have to be talented.
Are you sleeping with all 5 of them?
Not all of them. Depends on the situation.
Why not all? What's the deciding factor?
Well, there's different guys for different situations. Some guys, I just want to go to... I forgot that I'm recording this.
Some guys you just want to what?
There's different purposes for different tools.
One's a shovel, one's a knife, one's a fork.
Yeah, honestly, the one that I'm fucking, never gonna get in a relationship with him. He doesn't have the job, finances, none of that.
So why even open yourself up to a guy like that?
Great dick.
I called child services on my ex because he pissed me off, and then I was like, yeah, I'm done with this person, whatever. Like, you know, he had kids. I called child services on his ass, and I like fabricated everything and like censored things, and they like went to the door, and like there was a whole process. Like, I don't even know if the children's aid worker still visits them, but she probably does, because what I said, like the way I AI'd that shit, you know, like real AI shit, like fake bruises type shit.
So you fake bruises, you fake shit, and then you just made like an exaggeration story, and then
on their on his kids.
Yeah.
Like, so like, yeah, then they came. Yeah, should have been nicer to me, bitch.
Well, fellas, I believe by this time you would have learned a lot of lessons from this channel. One of them being that for most modern females, the more beautiful they are, the more delusional and entitled they will get. These females be entitled so much that if you refuse to give them what they want, they will go as low as they need to go to get back at you just for not treating them like a queen, which they think they deserve. It is always best to avoid them altogether so as to save yourself the headache of having to cope with whatever drama they bring to the table.
The biggest lie I ever heard about marriage? 2 of them. 1, happy wife, happy life. And this is supposed to mean that when your wife feels safe and fulfilled, she will echo that in the rest of the family. But what it came to mean from the boomer generation is the woman is the only important person in the house, and everybody should cater to her emotions. And what that did was craft a generation of men who are raised by angry, entitled, narcissistic women who are now afraid of women and over-responding by either being approval-seeking and fawning, or being hyper-avoidant and angry and thinking that women will ruin their life. And the men in that generation joke about how much they hate their marriage and hate their wife too. So happy wife, happy life is one of the worst lies on the planet. The other one is that marriage shouldn't take work. It should feel joyful and entertaining and euphoric all the time, and if it ever loses that feeling, you should just find another partner, like you're putting on a different pair of underwear. That's not how marriage works.
So my boyfriend turned red pill, and at this point we haven't spoke for about a month, and I can't cope with the fact that someone who I saw is so compassionate and thoughtful and intelligent, so caring and open-minded, just completely did a 180. They were just so supportive and caring, and even when I would have my self-sabotaging episodes, they still loved me. They really felt like a blessing. And it would get so bad because it really just pried at my insecurities, especially when talking about like women whose dads left. And I would always just end up crying and asking why. Like, why are you doing this? And as someone who has like poor emotional control, it took a lot to not just like blow up all the time.
She said she had poor emotional control. She had self-sabotaging episodes. To me, it kind of just sounds like the dude probably had enough.
Yeah, he had enough, all right. I remember back in the days when I just got red-pilled myself. The woman I was with back then angrily asked me, "Who opened your eyes?" Be rest assured, fellas, these women know when you were a fool and when you stop being one. That is why they go out of their way to prevent their man from getting exposed to this type of contents.
I don't want any of my income to be needed in the family. I want the man to be 100% the supporter, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to work and I'm not going to have my own business or whatever.
But you would want the family to be able to live solely off of your husband's
Yes,
income.
100% solely off of my husband. I don't want me to have to use my income at all, but that's not because I'm not going to be working or I'm not going to have my own stuff going on. It's just because I want the freedom to be able to take care of my kids for the first like 7 years of their life. I want to be a stay-at-home mom and be with them basically 24/7. I think that's important in the family structure, so that's pretty much the only reason why.
Okay, you would choose stay-at-home mom. So 0%, we'll say.
Yes.
The prettier the woman is, or the prettier she thinks she is, the more mentally unwell she usually is. And they often have a strange view of reality, thinking that they're more important on the planet Earth than they are. They're of greater value. They deserve more. They don't have a sense of what their true merit, talents are. They might think that they're always saying something interesting when really, no, you're not. Men are engaged with you because they'd like to get engaged with you. So often I find that it's just not worth it. And a lot of ignorant young boys, they see a guy like, oh man, his wife's so beautiful, or his so-and-so is so gorgeous. And they don't realize like that man is putting up with hell on earth.
I would like to be married. Well, we're on our way. We've been engaged for 2 years.
So what's the hold up on marriage?
He says my attitude and the way that I speak, I would say, towards men, which I agree.
You disrespect your child's father.
In arguments, yes. Out of anger. Not necessarily to disrespect him, like...
Okay, so how you fight says a lot. You know what he wants. Then give it to him or risk losing him. See, gentlemen, this is why you don't ever let your women get... This is why we should never let our women get comfortable. Because this is what happens. They start to end up... Inevitably, the disrespect happens. Women test for strength. And so many men are trying to be the nice guy, and we're getting bitched.
Women should offer to pay the whole bill so that men actually know if we're really interested or not. Because I know for a fact that if I don't with you, I'm not paying the whole bill.
I have done God's work. I have converted her.
Thank you, Brian.
After being, and I think you might be pandering to the men.
I believe in you. You know what? You're right. You said that if women are really interested in a guy and we're really down for them, like me personally, I'll spend all my money on you. So you're right. Women should pay for the first date.